Hi everyone, I'm Tala and welcome to a new episode of Lula's Diaries. Today's episode is going to be really exciting, but before I tell you what today's episode is about, I want to introduce to you all my friends today with me here. Hi Hawda, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm amazing. How's your week been going?
Well, my weekend's been going pretty great, thank you for asking. I did the usual. I went out with the family to a mall, got a bit of shopping done since it's summer now and there's no school. It's really fun to go out, and I actually want to go to a water park and get some activities done, or maybe go to the gym or something like that, just to have something in my plate so I can be active a little bit,
Oh, that seems to be kind of interesting actually. And hi Jafar, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. What about you?
I'm amazing, thank you for asking. So how's your weekend been going? Actually, how's your week been going? Because now in summer there's no school anymore.
Yeah.
It's basically the whole week is a weekend. So how's it all been going?
So, yeah, we all are enjoying our summer, but personally, I'm still working during my summer because I'm working different projects and on different actual things where I need to put in a lot of energy, a lot of effort. But at least, personally, I feel like it's less stressful than school because it's something I kind of want to do. It's work that I chose, and I choose what tasks I want to do. So that's enjoyable.
Nice. Same here. I've actually been working on something. I'll tell you later about it. But before I say, I wanted to ask Kerem, how are you and how's everything been going?
I'm very well actually, and since we're talking about everybody's personal tasks, I myself have been going on morning jogs to maybe increase the physicality and stamina that I have, which I genuinely would advise any of you to do. For example, to fix your sleeping schedule and wake up sometime early, 7-8 a.m. and just go on a 10-20 minute jog, and it would really start your day off with some very nice vibes and energy.
Oh, I love this. That's really good to do actually. I love how each and every one of us is doing something good this summer, just not laying in bed, going out, laying in bed.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to do something, and even shooting in the studio is actually work to us, so it's pretty fun.
And I love how we take it really seriously. If we do something wrong, we always have to start over to make sure that it's the best it could be, because after all, this is I think that this is my summer.
Yeah,
honestly, in a good way though. In a good way, obviously. I absolutely love it, and I think it's the one thing that keeps me going.
Definitely,
keeps
true.
me going,
And it's also something that's very productive, which is what everybody should be hoping for to do this summer, is to try and stay productive and not have the thinking that, oh, school is over, I don't have to do anything and I can just lay in bed. That's fun sometimes to do if you're tired, but just don't depend on it your entire summer.
Yes, definitely, I agree.
Exactly. Coming to a place like this, creating media is like an art form. It's very artful, very amazing. It's entertaining, and it's special. You have to be creative, artistic person to know how to do these kind of things.
And ironically enough, you mentioning art is actually related to this episode, as what we are doing is currently sort of counted as an art form.
Yeah, it's true actually.
Exactly.
I guess so.
And I'm really excited for today's episode, talking about art. So basically, Kerem said what today's episode about is basically about art, and we're gonna talk about really so many different types of art and different ways of art. But before I start, I wanted to ask you guys, does anyone here know why do people usually like to do art?
Well, art is it's a thing, it's really creative. People, I think, do it to express themselves.
True.
I believe so. People would love to just famous artists like Picasso and whatever, they usually just that's what you think of, that they take a paintbrush, some paint, and start drawing on a canvas. I think that's how I think of it, but maybe other people like to express it in a way that maybe people draw, happy things to feel happy, or maybe they're feeling down, they draw something sad. Depending on their mood, I think people would draw something related to how they're feeling. I think that emotion, being emotional or emotions can affect on arts a lot, and I think that's what creates a wonderful masterpiece, honestly.
Definitely, that's an amazing explanation. Does anyone here know any other reason why do people like art?
Well, just like Hara said, it's a way of expressing emotions or feelings, and what I've noticed is that usually the artists who have maybe tragic backstories create very meaningful art pieces. Like take the cartoons like a century back, maybe a little less, when places like the US were facing the Great Depression. There were many, many cartoons being made that all had hidden meanings about what was going on. They conveyed certain messages, although they looked like kids' cartoons, things just to watch when you're bored. They actually had meanings or emotions that the directors and creators were trying to convey.
Yeah, but I mean, another way could just be something quite simple, such as passing time, because then there are some kids, or maybe even adults who are just good at art and would rather be bored, or they don't have anything to do. So they just like pick up a paper, a few pencils, or sometimes they can do like paintings and things like that, and they will just waste some of their time by drawing beautiful paintings and possibly start their own business out of it by selling these paintings and gaining some money at a young age.
True, actually. I love everything you guys talked about, actually. And like, as you said, there are so many types of art. For example, as Karam was talking about this business thing, actually, if you guys remember, Judy, our friend, used to actually, she was bored, and then she got like, these little bead stuff. And then she started doing shapes, and she was like, oh, wow, this is really nice. I'll turn this into a necklace. And slowly, she opened like her own shop, she and her cousin, and like now she sells like her necklaces and stuff. And I think that's an amazing like thing she did as a small kid, starting her own business and like making it grow and grow so that she can grow with it.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, I think everybody should take some motivation out of that, as to show that age doesn't really matter in the business industry, as everybody's just looking at your product. They don't care who they're doing business with. They rather care about what the product is all about and how they can profit out of it. So as long as you have a good idea, an inventive one, and innovative as well, just put it into work and actually start something with it, and rather than just keeping it in your head.
Yeah, and since like everyone's going about like saving the earth, saving the planet, maybe a good way to, use art is maybe recycle things that you don't need, maybe plastic or things like that, and create a masterpiece out of it. Because I've seen like things, people would like build creatures out of water bottles, if that makes sense.
I saw that.
Yeah, like figures kind of, and they'd like cut them into shapes, stick them into pieces, and use paint, and it would look absolutely amazing. And in that form, you're saving the planet, as everyone wants to be doing. And I think it's, yet again, really, really like useful if you're putting your time and effort into something that benefits you and also benefits other people around you as well.
Definitely,
so that's really
I
good,
agree.
yeah.
I really agree with what you just said. And we have so much more to talk about in this episode. But before we go to, we'll see you later in a quick report, and then we'll be back with you guys. Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode with me. And for today's episode, we're basically talking about art. So I thought that as we're talking about art, one of the most main ingredients about art is basically paint. And paint is like basically whenever someone says art or mentions art, the first thing that comes on my mind is paint. So I thought I would tell you guys some of the most well-known types of painting that you can use and what are its benefits and how you can use it. And I'll start with the most mainly known one, which is basically acrylic paint. And this type of paint is basically mostly used with fabrics and also like these types of borders or stuff, whatever they call them. And I think it's a really nice type of painting, but the only problem it has is that you guys should be careful while using it because it stains on your clothes. So basically, if it came on your clothes, it's hard to get off. So that's that's a thing I had to mention. You should be careful about that. And to go to other types of paint, which is actually my favorite, which is basically finger painting. Finger painting is my favorite because it's really easy to use with kids and it can go away really quickly. And it's actually also fun because like kids like to use their hands and stuff while doing while painting and stuff. So they can use their hands, they could have fun, and they'd also not be scared of it coming on their clothes because it's really easy to move off. And another type of paint which is basically oil paint. I also love this type of paint because it is really nice to mix. Like basically, if you have so many different colors, or maybe you want to draw a sunset or something, it's really easy to mix the colors. Especially if you know kids that aren't really professional in like painting and stuff, it would be really easy to use, and they'd be making a very wonderful, amazing art piece. And I think it's a really nice way for kids to kind of express their drawing and stuff. Another type of paint that is there, which is basically watercolors, it is mostly like known, it's the one that you would add water to the paint and then you would use it using brushes and stuff. I think that this one is, it mainly focuses on the type of brushes you use so that it can make a good shade for you, because like if you're not using a very good brush with water paint, it doesn't always come out in a good way. Actually, you guys should always be careful by knowing which brushes you use to each type of paint. Now, this is a type of art that is well known, and another type of art that is basically my favorite, which is collage. Collage is a very easy way for you to basically mix and match stuff. That's how I like to say it, because like basically people like usually take pictures from magazine, cut out dresses or stuff, and like add them all together to one piece of paper to make an amazing art piece. Basically, some people usually like to be more creative and add fabrics and accessories and like so many other stuff that just make the paper look really wonderful. It is basically using take one like thing from each place and you'd make a very wonderful new whole thing. And it is really easy to do with your siblings or with your friends, whatever age you are, because it's like basically really, like as I said, it's really easy. Just glue the stuff on the paper and you would do it. Paper or canvas, you choose whatever you want. And then it would be really amazing to put in your room. Basically, you could put so many of them, and watching them in your room is just like so wonderful. And like I think it's an amazing way to express yourself. And yes, so basically there's another type of art that I actually really wanted to tell you guys about. I think everyone knows it, and like I think everyone should try doing it, because like it's really nice, and you could put it as a souvenir in your room or give it to your friends, or like most of us usually buy it from places, which is basically sand art. Sand art is very well known actually around us, and like you see it everywhere, I think, as I see it, like basically. And like nowadays there's these boxes for kids, you can actually do it. So basically whatever age you are, you would have it ready to use. Basically you just put the sand, and they would have an instruction paper for you to know exactly how to do it. And it's quite amazing to see how much like fun it is to do, and especially that like it seems to be hard, but then when you do it, it isn't that hard, and it's really fun to do actually. And like you can also give it to your friends as gifts, or maybe if you traveled somewhere, you can actually do it there, or like learn how to do it basically, and then give it to your friends as a souvenir from the place you were in. So basically these are 3 of my favorite types of art. I hope you guys try any of them because they're really fun, and I think try to be creative as much as you can and try to express yourself, because it's just so amazing. And I'll see you guys later. Welcome back, dear viewers. I hope you enjoyed the last report as much as we enjoyed it. And now back to what we were talking about, which was basically about arts and how to start business in art and stuff. And I actually wanted to continue to what Hawra was saying, because I loved her idea and like about saving the planet, and then at the same time doing something fun when you're bored, and at the same time too maybe starting your own business.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this, Karam and Jafar?
Well, I mean, like, definitely, I think that that is, first of all, a very good, like, strategic business way, because one of the most important factors of business is that you should follow trends. Now, one of the biggest trends currently going on is trying to save the environment. So if you implement such a thing into a product that you might sell, it would be very beneficial to you, as a lot of people would be attracted towards it, and the chances of people sharing it with their other fellow like friends is a lot higher. And that way it's just, you keep branching out towards other people. So I mean, from a business standpoint, this is a very, very good idea.
Definitely, I agree. And what about you, Jafar? What do you think?
So about the business aspect of art, It really depends on who the artist is, what the message they're trying to convey is, and how they do it. That really affects the sales and how many people are interested. Like, let's say someone has a really tragic story, but if they just announce it and speak about it, they'll get a few people. They write a book about it, they'll get more people. And if they make a movie about it, they'll get many people. So it really depends on the art form. But at the same time, there are some really famous artists who don't even need to put any effort. They could literally just scribble on a canvas, sign it, and it's worth a few $1 million because it's that artist.
Yeah, and I think that's what becoming like our society. It's not the story behind it, it's the name. They don't care about what you do. And as you say, like, okay, so it's benefits them, but yet again, like, do you think it benefits us or the people if it's just the name? You know, I could be working really, really hard and I could put across the same work as a celebrity, and yet they wouldn't look at me, they'd look at someone else, the celebrity. Why? Because she is known, or she, like, it's the name, it's her. And I wouldn't be, like, you know?
True.
So I think
unless you do something really big and like go out in a really big way and like just like, you know, do something really different and new, everyone would look at you. But rather than this, nothing else, like, unless you're a celebrity or well known, I think, like.
Yes, but think about it now. The reason why you'll make art is that people buy it. Now, what do people do with these art pieces that you buy? They put them in places for display, such as museums, such as stuff, so like things like that. So if an artist like Pablo Picasso did something that is so iconic, such as take a splash of paint and put it on a canvas, someone buys it, they put it on a museum, and then now the museum has a new headline. Oh, we have Picasso's new iconic piece of work. That's why it's important, because I mean, museums aren't looking for anything other than tourists, other than attractions, because that's how they will get their money.
Definitely.
So for you to build your own reputation, that's one point. For people to buy your products and then display them and them profiting out of it, that's another thing. So I'm not very against it, because if you have built your reputation, if you've worked from scratch to build such a big name for yourself to a point where no matter what you do, people will buy it and spend a fortune on it, then who's stopping you? Why not? And you can't tell people where to spend their money and why not to. You know, everybody's free to do whatever they want with their money. So I say that if somebody has made a reputation where no matter what they do, without even effort, they can still make money, then they should go ahead and do it. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. It's just business. It's nothing else, you know, other than you taking art as a more emotional side and a lot expressive, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just business, and you're allowed to do that. No one's stopping you.
Oh, I love the way you think of it. It's actually gave me a whole another way for me to look about it, and I think it's really like, I like the way you talked about it. I think it's true actually. I think both. For example, like not just a piece of paper and then you throw paint. Oh wow, this is something. I think there should be a little bit of kind of, you know, something into it so that people would benefit from it. Not just, oh wow, this is paper on paint, because like anyone can do that. But like, for example, just like Karam said, I really agree with everything you said right now.
Yeah, it's honestly. And talking about like other than like artists in general or what they perform, let's move on and talk about how art has been like produced over the years, because now I think art is not taken as seriously as before, to be honest, because yes, there were a few artists and they were like foreign artists or like from other European countries. I don't think a lot of people, you know cherish them. I think
art has really changed.
Yeah.
Art used to be only pictures or drawings and stuff. Now it's a really quite different way.
Yeah.
For example, movies and stuff. This is like, you feel like this is the new way of art.
Camera art. You know how the cameras, like if the camera is really good or has a really good lens or like everything is really clear, that's considered art, at least to me.
Or I think also the ideas they're making out, for example, those new movies that are coming out, especially this year. I feel like this is the year of movies. So many new movies.
Yeah, I think this is the year.
The amazing ideas they're putting into the movies, and the movies are like just so good. And like I think this is the new kind of art we're going through now. Like not just paper and paint and colors. It's really different, and like it's still art, but in quite a different way, in a more modern way.
Yeah, I think also like a really important aspect to like cartoons and things like that. They need sculptors, a lot of them, and really creative ones and good ones, because if you ever see like a TV trailer, but for cartoon movies, like the new cartoon movies coming out, how are they gonna get those characters? They just like think of them. No, they need sculptors to sculpt them first, and then they need to take that and put it in HD or whatever
Yeah.
they do. I don't know, but
You
they
know-
need sculptors. It's important.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've actually noticed it, but throughout this year, they've also been experimenting with new sorts of cartoon. Like, for example, the new Spider-Man movie that was like, if you hear Spider-Man and you hear like it's a movie, you'd expect it to be a real life
Live action.
actors,
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you know. And instead, it was
Really?
actually a cartoon
Yeah,
movie,
it was a
and it was
cartoon,
more like a comic book that
yeah.
comes to life, you know. And then another new movie, which was Detective Pikachu. You know, you think of
Yeah.
Pikachu, and
Yeah.
instantly you would think animated, 2D art. You know, instead it was implemented in a real life standpoint where Pikachu is an animated one, but everything around him is real. It's real life animations and stuff. So it's like to see that they're experimenting with these sort of cartoons and see the positive feedback out of it. Just pushes them to experiment even more and more and furthermore into these things.
Definitely. What do you think, Jafar, about this kind of new arts coming out?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, Hara said that people aren't into arts that much nowadays. Personally, I think of it in a different way. I think people aren't into that kind of art,
Yeah,
you know,
I
the
think-
paintings where it's just in a canvas, because people's attention span is way, way shorter than it used to be. They don't want just a frame on their wall. They'd like to have a frame that's made up of lights and has the movies played on it, which they
True.
call a television. They like something that has a lot of action and a lot of, something that's dynamic. Even with music, musicians are also called artists because music is considered an art, especially when you do it properly, not just mumble something on
Definitely.
Yeah.
the music. So I think that movies, TV shows, and music are the new art forms, although there are still people who are into paintings, and especially some new paintings that are, they'd call it, fourth wall or fourth dimension wall breaking artists like Banksy, who was able to create an art piece in a frame. And when it was on auction, when it was being auctioned and someone bought it, it was being shredded through the frame itself. He had technology in the frame that
Wow.
started shredding the painting once it was sold.
Oh,
There are
wow.
those kind of artists who use special things to make themselves stand out, despite it's not being the biggest art form nowadays.
Oh wow, that's amazing actually. I love this.
And
So just before you talk, I just wanted to tell you guys, I hope you guys are enjoying time with us, but we're going to go to a quick break and then we'll be back with you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new segment. I'm Haura and today I'm going to be talking about three special topics. My first one is going to be a type of art where, as we know, there are many types of art. Some have cubism, some are other arts performed by famous artists all around the world, but I'm going to be talking about a certain type of art which I find very amusing and you can find it, let's say, everywhere and it's on the street. Well, this type of art is called graffiti art. I believe, personally, I think graffiti art is one of the most creative artworks out there because people around the world can go onto the streets, or you can mostly find graffiti art in railway stations or the subways or the walls on the subways, and people just go there, get spray paint and express themselves. They can do anything and create anything with spray paints and it would look absolutely amazing. Although some places have legal rights, so they can't be spray painted there, but other places are very open-minded and they say that it's all right to spray paint there. So I would say that first you have to get permission in order to spray paint so you don't get into trouble. But let's just talk about the art in general. Basically, graffiti art is a type of art that has a little funky twist to it, and it's one of the most famous arts, and you can find it anywhere, as I mentioned earlier. So basically, graffiti art has lots of types of, let's say, characters included in it. You could mostly find characteristics or like numbers written in a funky type of way, upside down or something like that. Graffiti art is all over the world, as I mentioned earlier, and it's one of the most known arts because it's really known, like once you, especially when you travel somewhere abroad, let's say a European country. European countries have a lot of graffiti on them, especially on walls. And when you go on trains or subways or things like that, there's a lot of graffiti, especially in the underground in London. There's a lot of graffiti there. And you can always find different types of graffitis and different designs, and people actually sign it, and they show it off to people, and people, it's an amazing thing to stare at and look at because it's actually like really amusing. And if you think about it, I wish that there was a museum that just held so many graffiti artworks, because graffiti works, they have like this huge wall, and you can just create anything you want, like pour out your heart into it and just like spray paint everything, and it would be absolutely amazing. So that's it for the graffiti topic. The second topic I'm going to be talking about is a art craft. So for me, when I think about art crafts, I think about something to do with painting. That's like how I am. So I went to this place out there in a different type of mall outside of Kuwait, and they had like that you could do so many different art crafts and you could create so many different things, and I was really inspired, to be honest, by that place. And so one thing that was actually my favorite thing to ever do was ceramic painting. Now, ceramic painting is really well known. I think its name is self-explanatory. And basically what you do is you can take, it's like painting, but basically you paint on an object or a ceramic. You can buy the ceramics anywhere. You could either paint it on a flat surface and create your painting, or you can buy a ceramic figure, let's say a dog or a cat, that's like made out of ceramic, but it's white, and you can go ahead and take your acrylic paint or any type of paint and paint it, and it would look as if you painted a 3D kind of image, because it is 3D, and so it's absolutely amazing and really nice to look at and stare at, and it's a really fun activity to do with your friends and family. And there are also a lot of places here in Kuwait that provide ceramic painting, and you can like paint ceramics and stuff like that. So yeah, ceramic painting is really, really fun, and I've tried it with my friends and family. My little brother loved ceramic painting, and the ceramic painting was really fun for everyone, especially when you get to mix colors, because some colors are limited and you can't really find like a certain type of blue. So you would mix like dark blue with white to get light blue, and that would be really fun, especially when you mix all the colors, and you could create so many different things with the ceramic painting, and color or paint so many different objects with it as well. And other than paint, if you don't like to paint like huge objects with like actual figures or characters, you could always take a plain ceramic plate. Make sure you get permission from your parents first, because ceramics are quite heavy and they could easily break, to be honest. So be careful with that. And you could always take a flat ceramic like a plate or a canvas, and it would act as if it's kind of stiff to paint on, but it's nice if you're painting like a sunset or like some type of trees, or if you're merging colors together to create like a nice image or like a background. It would be absolutely amazing. And other than being, like simple or original and painting on a canvas, paint on ceramics and hold it up on the wall or things like that, and add lights to it, add the glitter. It would be absolutely amazing and really eye-catching for people to stare at. And that's my second topic done. And my third topic I'm going to be talking about is a famous artist and the famous painting. So one of the most famous paintings that I believe everyone knows is the Mona Lisa. Now, the Mona Lisa is one of the most famous artists, and it's been made by Leonardo da Vinci. And he's a really, really famous Italian artist, and he painted the Mona Lisa by hand. And a fun fact about it is that the Mona Lisa has been painted on pure wood. It's not been painted on a canvas or any type of other thing that usually the artist would paint on. And so that's what makes it really, really cool about it. And if you know, there are so many crimes that took place by people trying to steal the Mona Lisa. That's how pure and precious it is. Now, Sadly, Leonardo da Vinci passed away a really long time ago, but his art piece still lives, and you can always find it in this really famous museum in Paris by the name of the Louvre, and it holds many famous paintings other than the Mona Lisa by many famous artists all around the world. And the Louvre is one of the biggest art museums in the world. And as I mentioned, it's placed in Paris, but it's really, really big, and it has different types of art crafts or paintings. And the people usually go to the Louvre just to see the Mona Lisa. That's how big and how like powerful of a painting it is. I mean, I want to go to the Louvre just to see the Mona Lisa and see other paintings by lots of wonderful other like painters and famous artists, but the Mona Lisa is really eye-catching, and believe it or not, it has a really huge story behind it, and it's one of the biggest like paintings in the entire world, and it's a really, really, really nice painting. And I thank you guys for joining me on today's segment, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome back, dear viewers. I hope you enjoyed the last report as much as we did. And now back to being with us here. We have a new guest with us today who I'm going to introduce to you guys, who seems to be an amazing artist. Her name is Leah. Hi, Leah. How are you?
Fine.
How's everything?
Good.
So, Leah, can you tell us how old are you?
8 years old.
Oh, that's so nice. And I heard you're a nice artist. Can you tell us more about what do you like in art and stuff?
I like that art is creative, and I like that you can sometimes make things up from your mind.
Oh, that's impressive. That's nice. So, Leah, how long have you been practicing art?
5 years.
5 years.
Oh, that's really nice.
Wow. That's really, really good. And so, do you have something to show us right now?
Yeah,
Let's see.
a gift.
Oh, that's
thank
really
you.
cute.
That
Thank
is
you.
nice.
Oh, look, it says it's our program.
Oh my God,
Miss
thank you so much for
Diaries.
this amazing gift. I love it.
Thank you.
I love how you drew some sweets and candies on it. So, when did you do this? How long did it take you to do it?
One day, and I did it Saturday.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
Thank you.
She really knows us. She knows we love sweets, and we're.
Yeah, and I think
can't-
it matches really well with the studio, since the studio is really colorful. You know, it has lots of social medias around it,
And
and the
colours,
background
pink
is
and-
really colorful. So this suits perfect.
Thank
you
you so
very
much.
That's really kind of you.
So, today's episode we're also talking about art, and we were now talking about the new kind of art, but I wanted to ask you about what is your favorite type of art, like painting, coloring, drawing, sand art maybe?
Drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drawing, and do you like specifically like drawing with colored pencils, or do you
Colored
like
pencils.
Yeah, colored pencils, no felt tips, like
Yeah.
And like,
maybe
what do you usually
painting.
draw? Animation, people, what do you like to draw?
Sometimes animation, sometimes people.
Really?
Oh,
You know how to draw
that's
people?
Yeah.
Oh,
Most people, most children aren't the best at drawing. They know how to color things in. You know, when you go to a restaurant and they
Yeah.
give you crayons and they tell you just draw in the lines, draw in the white figures.
yeah.
But then there are some kids and children who know how to draw and how to make amazing art pieces.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So it's
actually.
impressive. Do you like coloring or do you like drawing more?
I like drawing more.
Drawing more.
Drawing,
See that
right.
talent, not just getting
Talent, yeah.
color. And
So how long does it take you to draw a specific, like, let's say?
Let's say animation.
Sometimes 2 days, sometimes 1 day.
Oh, that's
good,
nice.
yeah.
And like, for example, you said you've been doing art for 5 years.
Yeah.
How did you start? Coloring or
I-
painting or?
First, I start painting. Then my father taught me a little bit تكسر طلاء الرياحي. And then I started painting alone sometimes. Then I went to Arts Formative Institute and started coloring more things.
Oh,
Wow,
so
that's good.
you go to like a place that they teach you. What have you learned there? Anything new more than you know?
I learned how to paint shading and sometimes people, and I
Wow.
learned how to sometimes graphic, and that's all.
Oh, I have a question for you. You mentioned graphic art. Can you tell us what is graphic art? I myself, I'm not quite sure what is it.
Like patterns and sometimes like fake things, like when women have sometimes big nose and small nose and a small eye.
Oh, okay. This
so
is
it's
graphic.
more like how
Yeah, you know the
paintings
ones
with
that are
the
like
eye.
the eyes here and the nose here. Oh,
yeah, kind of like Picasso art, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, so
talking about Picasso, who's your favorite artist?
Famous artist.
I have actually two, Picasso and Da
Right.
Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Oh, Da
Really?
Vinci. Actually, Picasso is one of my favorites because he puts a lot of different things into one painting, and he creates this like eye-amusing type of thing, and it's absolutely amazing because
True.
everything's at a different directions, a lot of colors. They could be color schemed if he wants it to be, but they're usually like you could have a body separated into different sections, and it could be triangles or shapes, and you would have the eye here, the leg
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
the hand
Yeah.
there, the lip
Yeah.
there, and so you like that type of art, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's like I think kids nowadays would love to go and look at artworks that are more like modern, not modern specifically since Da Vinci is like really
Yeah.
old, but you
But
know,
like, you know,
it's
now
like
it's,
Contemporary,
Picasso.
yeah.
it's something,
Yeah.
it looks like
Yeah.
modern art.
And
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci is also a very famous artist. Which one of his paintings do you like the most?
Mona Lisa.
Mona
The
Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
Speaking of which, it's also very, very famous, very protected one. It's in Le Louvre as of right now.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And like, I just have a little question for you. So, do you usually read about art?
Yeah, sometimes.
What do you like to read about art?
How can we learn art in an easy way?
Oh, and so
Oh.
how did you get that? Like, how did you learn art in an easy way?
Sometimes I draw two lines like the same height and the same length, and then
So these are your guidelines, right?
yeah, then I make the eyes so it can be the same tall and the same.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good. Yeah, actually,
And like-
because they taught me this in art now.
Mhm.
And now, right now, like
That's
in like literally right
High
now
school.
in this school year. But thinking of it as like our generation has expanded and like new things are being developed, I think what I'm learning now, they're teaching the kids that are younger than me 10 years or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
And I love that, honestly. I love that for them since they could learn
Yeah, because
more.
like, they
Yeah,
have
it
more, like,
develops
they're more
their-
creative and like new types of art.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking more about art and types of art and knowing more from Leia, but we're going to go to a quick report now and then we'll be back with you guys.
Hello everyone, my name is Karam, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a very famous painting as well as a very famous female artist. Now, to begin with, I wanted to first talk to you about the Starry Nights, which is one of the most popular paintings in art history, and it was painted by the post-imperfectionist Vincent van Gogh. And basically, the painting was his view of the outside from his room in the asylum, as he was put into an asylum for having some sort of mental issues. Now, this painting was painted in 1889 and has been viewed by so many people and is looked up as one of the most famous ones and one of the best paintings in art. It has been sold for a very great fortune of money, and it's, you know, like any sort of painting in art, it's very well known, and artists take hours of thought into it and look and just admire the sort of painting that was put into it. And it is the sort of painting that is oil on canvas. It's just a very phenomenal sort of painting that I would recommend all of you to go take a look at, as I'm sure you will have your own abstract meaning towards it. Now, moving on, I would like to talk about Frida Kahlo, which is a Mexican artist, which was very well known in painting self-portraits, portraits, and a lot of other sorts of arts. She was mostly known for self-portraits, as many people would see how she would paint herself and she would put so much detail into it. And she actually revolutionized the sort of art in Mexico, as well as actual political standpoints such as gender, race, and many other things in the Mexican society. So she was looked up as someone that was very important and, you know, someone that revolutionized the sort of lifestyle in Mexico.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed the last report as much as we did. I actually loved it a lot. And now back to talking with my friends here. I wanted to ask Leah first of all, as you like art and stuff, so is there anything you have in mind, so when you grow up you want to be an artist, or what do you have in mind?
I like to be a dancist, and art is not only painting, and it's also engineering and music, and also sometimes dentist. My father, Dr. Riyahi, he's a dentist, and I would like to be like him, so I can be an artist and a dentist at the same time.
Oh, so
I
your dad
love
is
that.
an artist.
Yeah, and I love how she mentioned that art isn't only, you know, painting in a canvas or something like that. Other activities or other, you know, jobs also are considered as art. And as she mentioned, and the engineering and also
Music.
the dentist
Music.
industry and music, all of these are considered as art.
So,
But
so she has in mind she wants to be a doctor and at the same time an artist, so that she has
Yeah.
two jobs. And I love this. This is so nice.
This is really good, yeah.
Thank you.
So, what do you guys think of Leah? She's amazing to me. I love how like amusing she is. So what do you guys think?
Really cute and humble child with a bright future, inshallah. We wish you all the best, and since you've got a talent, my advice for you is keep doing what you're doing, because you never know, like especially art, it could take you places, and it will take you places, inshallah. So just keep doing what you love, and
Definitely.
only what you love. Don't, if you feel forced, don't do it, you know. Always do what you love and continue what you're doing, because you're going to go like far.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hawra, for this amazing advice, and thank you so much, guys, for being with us, and thank you, Leah, for the amazing time you gave us. Now, we're sadly arrived to the end of the episode, but before we end, I want to have last words from my friends here. I'll start with Hawra.
So my last word would be also as what I told Leah, is that always do what you want to do, and if you feel like you're being forced or don't want to do that specific thing, always, you know, you could back out. But seen from Leah, I can tell that she loves drawing, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that she loves drawing, and I can tell that she really takes it as a passion, and that's the most important part of it, is that you do what you love and you do it because you love it.
Yes,
and
definitely.
So I would just encourage everyone to just do what they want to do.
Thank you, Hawra. And now, what about you, Jafar? Any last words for the viewers?
So to all the viewers, I think it's very important to consider doing something with art, because it's not just a separate subject. It activates the right brain. It gets you to be more creative, and especially when in school we have a lot of mathematics, a lot of science. Sometimes it's good for a change to look at art and just learn how to be creative, how to create our own things. Even though at the same time, art isn't just putting paint on paper. Like Leah said, it's more than just painting and putting colors. She uses guidelines and construction lines to make sure that the art looks complete and proper with the right ratio to things. So it kind of activates both sides of the brain. It's very inclusive to the different functions of the brain, and it will really help you grow and develop yourself.
Yes, I definitely agree. And what about you, Leah? Do you have any advice for our viewers here, as you're a growing artist?
Yeah. I would like to tell the dear viewers to never give up and always try their best.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the amazing gift you did for us.
Thank
and
you.
thank you guys for being here with us. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode as much as we enjoyed tutoring us. And we'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.